Okay. Okay. Hello. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. We just, man. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think everything's working now. Hello. What's up, everybody? You guys don't realize what just happened, but things just went absolutely fucking crazy in this office. Lights were falling down, things were going crazy. So, okay, I think we're okay. Are we live? Hello. Are we live and doing a Nerdvenger stream? My God. That was like the worst way to open. Like, right when I'm about to go, shit just hits the fan. Really not a good situation. But hey, look, we're here. What's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. You know what I love about live streaming? When you change just a little bit, you change just a couple of things, and it's like the whole fucking system crumbles. The whole thing that you've been doing for years is unreliable and doesn't work the same way. It's absolutely absurd. I fucking hate it. I hate technology. Other than that, we're doing good. We're having a great morning. Hello, everyone. It's crazy. Like, for no reason whatsoever. Like, why Anyways, let's not get totally wrapped up in it. We're here and we're streaming and there's nerdy stuff going on. We got to talk about mostly why everybody's wrong. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's wrong. You know, I didn't get to stream Wednesday, and it's been a relatively slow week, right? But one of the things that happened over the course of the week was news coming out from the trades that Michael Waldron is indeed going to write the Kang Dynasty as well as Avengers Secret Wars. And, you know, as you do, people reacted to this news. And, oh my God, everybody's wrong. I cannot believe how many people are receiving this news negatively and are not accepting of just how dope and how freaking awesome this news is. So that's what we're gonna talk about that today. I also want to react to some videos. There's some crazy Deadpool 3 news going on as well. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a nice, chill day, okay? We're going to have a nice, chill day. Everybody calm down. I'm calm. I definitely didn't just rip the arm off of my gaming chair out of frustration about 2 minutes ago. You need to calm down, chat. You're the ones that are going crazy, okay? And you've created a really hostile environment on this stream, okay? Already. So I'm going to need you to relax. Let me do this thing up here. Boom. Boom. Okay, now we're rocking and rolling. Now we're rocking and rolling. Totally unrelated, but I no longer have a left arm on this chair. It's really weird. I don't know what happened. Disney Plus lost more subscribers because of Elon Musk. I'm sure that's probably true to some degree. It's all about what degree is that true. How many people are going to get rid of Disney Plus for Elon Musk? What do you guys think? How about this? Let's do this. Throw a 1 into the chat if you're one of the people. And by the way, none of you guys have commented on the lovely lights that we put up. On the freaking microphone. So shut your mouth when you're talking. It was trending, Jesus Christ. Okay, how many of you are going to get rid of Disney Plus because of Elon Musk? Throw a 1 into the chat. He ain't reading this chat, I guess. I'm reading it, Finto. I'm reading all the chats, man. I got so many chats pulled up right now. Two of you? Two of you? 3 of you? 4 of you? Really? So it's not the years and years of shit content? It's not the fact that you never pick Disney Plus when you're trying to watch something? It's not the price increases or the password crackdowns? It's Elon Musk. Elon Musk told Bob Iger to go fuck himself. Yeah, let's go, Elon. Woo! And then you're going to get rid of your Disney Plus? I mean, look, if it happens, I'll be like, damn, that happened. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think that's going to happen, man. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, like, even myself, right? Like, I think about Disney Plus, and especially after Loki, I was like, well, I don't need this shit for a while, because I'm really not interested in Echo and kind of terrified of X-Men 97, and What If's cool, but, like, do I really need to watch What If every day for 9 days? You know, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think, I mean, first of all, Liam's starting to really like Bluey. It is cool to have all of the Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, and in 4K, some of them at your fingertips. So, look, call me crazy, guys. You can call me crazy if you want. But I think as long as the service is providing value that most people feel is reasonably priced, I don't think you're going to get a mass exodus of Disney Plus because of Elon Musk. But you know what? I'm open to being wrong. It's only happened like once or twice in my whole life. You know? But yeah, no, it's happened before. I've been wrong. So, I don't know. That whole situation's crazy though. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this week was filled with a lot of news that I knew like 80-90% of y'all would really want to talk about and really want to ask me about, and that I was absolutely dreading talking about because like I just don't care. Like I really don't care. You guys know, I think most of you know, I don't like the culture war nonsense. I think the people that are really wrapped up in the culture war, which again is like 80 and 90% of you, that shit is just so fucking lame, dog. It's so lame. It's so lame. So I was like, I really don't want to talk about that. And I'd actually prefer not to talk about Bob Iger and his comments and everything too. It's just all so fucking stupid. But again, I know that like 80-90% of you guys really care and really want to talk about it. So I was trying to like mentally prepare myself. And what the hell? What the hell's going on? What the fuck? So I was trying to like kind of mentally prepare for being able to talk about it. I'm sure we'll get some questions about it. Real excited. But you do talk about it so much. Do I really? I don't think I do. You know, a lot of people, sometimes on Twitter, I'll have people, like, I'll literally post all kinds of stuff. So let's say, like, I post about some cool thing that I've heard about, like, health. Or I'll post this movie that I really liked. Or I'll post this show that I really like. I'll go, like, let's say 8 out of 10 posts that are like innocuous or about something completely different, non-controversial, whatever, right? But then those 2 posts that I talk about will get so much attention and will get so much exposure, and then people will come in, literally, bro, and be like, don't you just hate everything? Hey, dude, this dude just hates everything now. I used to like this dude's channel, but he just hates everything now. You know? That's what's actually happening. Like, I'm not engaged in this shit all day long, but most of y'all are. And so you come to some of my content or some of the things that I say through that lensing, because that's how the algorithms basically deliver all the shit. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think it is really going on. Like, you guys think that I talk about it all the time. Some of you guys do. But I damn sure don't. It's just that that's probably 90% of like the content that you consume and how you consume it. So that's the take. But anyways, look, we're getting way off course, okay? We're getting way off course. At the end of the day, let's keep it really simple. Here's the take about Elon. He's the dumbest smart person on the planet. That's what I'll say. He's the dumbest smart person, or maybe the smartest dumb person. I can't really decide. Or maybe he's both. And yeah, that's the take. We can just leave it at that. He's probably both. Yeah. That's real nice. Let's just sit in that awkwardness for a little bit. Let's you smell it? Kind of wafting. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay. As far as show notes and everything else that we have going on, I think the only thing we have going on this weekend is a Prime stream on Sunday. So if you're a Prime member, come by Sunday, try to check that out. I'm going to go over some really interesting stuff, actually, with YouTube and just kind of algorithmic stuff. So we'll go over that on Sunday. If you can't catch it live, check it on the replay. It's going to be very beneficial to people on that tier. Other than that, I don't know that we planned anything. I don't think we planned anything else. Cartoons. Did I say on Monday that we would do cartoons? And also, thank you so much for the 5 gifted, Mr. JB. I really appreciate that. Did I say on Monday we were doing cartoons? And don't lie to me, chat. Tell me honestly. Did I really say it? Did I? I guess technically we're supposed to do cartoons. Yeah. All right, fine. We'll do cartoons. Here's what I want to do, though. I want to do something like holiday themed. Or is there any Christmas themed or holiday themed, like of the old X-Men show or like the old Watch Invincible? Josh hates his job, confirmed. No, I don't hate my job. I just want to have the weekend off. It's not that big of a deal, right? It won't be too bad. Star Wars Holiday Special. Ooh, that's a good one. Is that on Saturday? Or is that on Saturday? Is that on Disney Plus? Is the Holiday Special on Disney Plus, dude? Is there a One Piece like Christmas thing? It is on Disney Plus? Oh my god. Okay. It's on YouTube. The holiday special's on YouTube? Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yo. Here's something. Let's watch the holiday special, even though it's not a cartoon, right? Because it's not a cartoon. It's live action, right? You know what, guys? It's crazy enough having one chat, but having all of these chats, I don't know, man. I don't know about that shit. Boba is a cartoon in it. What? What? Everyone, I hate Disney. Me going to chill in Galaxy's Edge tomorrow. May the Force be with you. Right on, Chris. Right on, bro. Is it okay? I'm losing my finger-licking mind right now, guys. So, everybody, shut your mouth, but also tell me, is the holiday special on Disney Plus? Is that true? Is that real talk, or are y'all fucking with me? That's number one. So, let's get that out of the way. Look at these chats. This is like reading the Matrix. I'm trying to, like, decipher. Billy says no. Yeah, it's not on there. Bro, just go see. Why would I do that when I have chat in front of me? The Lego one? Dude, the Lego one's kind of lame, though. Isn't the Lego one like the multiversal Star Wars shit with Legos and stuff? I hate Disney Plus. Elon Musk better. Thank you, Spaceship. You have been heard. You have been recognized. And, I personally appreciate your bravery. So, thank you. Since it's all owned by Disney, we could have Marvel versus Star Wars. That's true. Is it really on YouTube? Agent Llama Prop! Are you messing with me, man? Yo, Josh, no glasses, like I wear a hat around my kid and say, who dat? Yeah. The secret is this all is a costume. And when I'm in real life, I look nothing like this. It's a wig. I actually have a wig on. Yes, it is. Thank you, Agent Llama. I knew I could depend on you, Agent Llama. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll watch the holiday special tomorrow morning. That'll be actually kind of fun. Here's the other side of this. I've never seen the holiday special. I know, chat. I know. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system. Let me know. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen it. Always heard it was horrible and makes you want to... you won't finish it? Oh, yeah? How long is it? Now I'm nervous. It's worse than Rise? Oh, no. Hot Wing Challenge? No, it's... Do y'all remember the Hot Wing Challenge last year? When we did the Super Bowl stream and Elisa tried to kill me? Yeah, man. You know, you always hear these stories of, like, wives that, like, poison their husbands and stuff, dude. But, like, with Scorpion Trinidad wing sauce? Whew. It's a bad way to go. That shit was wild, bro. Oh, and by the way, apparently some dude died doing the hot chip contest. You said the Flash looked amazing. Hey, you don't say that. You're gonna ruin my rep, bro. But yeah, no, I did say that. I remember watching we watched the Flash trailer. And I remember like, because I still think that trailer was really cool. You know, I still do. I was like, damn, that's really cool. And I remember like watching the trailer and then like we paused for a minute and I was like, you know what, man, look, it was only like 5 or 6 ladies that Ezra hit with chairs. You know, people can change. I think maybe we've been approaching this the wrong way. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how good that trailer was. But lucky for us, you know, more came out about the movie as we got closer to it. You know, strangely too, and by the way, guys, I just want to say, I'll tell you, I'll just say this: I am feeling much better. I'm feeling much better. This is a nice, calm conversation that we're having, and you know, we're back to shitting on the Flash a little bit, and that's, I mean, that just feels right. And so I want to thank you for taking the conversation into this direction. But well, all I was going to say is I feel way better than I did 5 minutes ago when I ripped off the arm of my own chair. You know what I mean? And so thank you. But yeah, dude, do you guys know that I still have not seen The Flash? I'm wondering how many of you guys have not seen The Flash, man. Because this movie, not only did it bomb like super bad in theaters, but it apparently did horrible on digital. It did horrible on streaming. Like nobody even streamed that shit. Like, that's wild. Like, we're at this place with audiences right now where people can just, like, they really reject things and they reject it wholesale. Like, I don't think anybody really would have predicted that the Marvels would have done as bad as it did like a year ago, right? Because we watched Love and Thunder make like $760 million, and you just kind of thought maybe that was the floor, or maybe like something close to that was the floor. But now we're in this stage of like people just wholesale rejecting movies. Like, that's crazy. Like, they didn't even see that shit on streaming. That's wild to me, but I think that's kind of, you know, that's where audiences are at, you know. Superhero fatigue. I mean, I would say there is some superhero fatigue. Like, I don't think you can say there's none, but I don't know if that's what's going on with the Flash. Maybe you could make the argument that there's no, like, there's nothing necessarily special about a superhero movie at all, period. Like, just anymore. There's nothing like inherently unique about it anymore. So there's no draw just based on like the genre or whatever. And I think that's fair. But I think to have the audience reject that movie in that way, wow. I wonder what's going to happen with Aquaman. But like the point is, like, I think audiences are so much smarter than what a lot of the studios give them credit for. Because nobody's going to get tricked into watching Aquaman 2. We know what it is. You know, it goes nowhere. It's a weirdly timed sequel that doesn't have a place. Like, nobody's going to get tricked into watching that just for the sake of watching an Aquaman movie. Do you know what I mean? And I think like that's like what's going on with the Marvels. So like you don't need to watch the Marvels, like period. First of all, the plot leak's been out there for 2+ years and it's not that great. Some of the coolest shit in that was like actually removed or taken out. Like apparently, and I don't know this for sure, but I've heard that the incursion sequence, which was like just Dar-Ben basically blowing up and then the portal opening, apparently that sequence was supposed to be much cooler than that as it was conceived. So gotta throw my flannel back on. It's getting cold in here. But it's just kind of weird. It's weird that we've gotten to that place with all this stuff, right? Okay. GTA 6, yeah. I mean, what do you guys think about GTA 6? We can talk about that for a little bit before we get into the stuff about Michael Waldron. Is GTA 6 gonna... Like, is that just gonna be, like, the dopest dope? It sounds lame. What do you mean? I don't know if we've heard anything about it. Although, I guess there were some leaks. Were there not? There were some leaks, like, earlier this year, maybe? Yeah? It will be unless it's pay per hour. I did hear about that. That seems wild. Talk about Hot D. What about it? Is there new info out? Is there new information? Pay per hour confirmed? I don't think it's confirmed. Never played GTA? Wow. I want to play a strong, independent woman that needs no 5-star wanted level. Oh, well, there you go. Isn't that just like The Sims or something? GTA 6 is going to be fire, set in fictional Miami. Oh, that's interesting. $150 game? No way. Hot D trailer tomorrow. Ooh, really? That sounds nice. Yo, so check this out, chat, okay? Now that I have your attention, now that we're at, like, calm, I need you to shut your mouths and do something for Papa Josh. I know that many of you have your doubts that Rebel Moon is going to become bigger than Marvel and Star Wars, okay? But you're wrong! And I have a video that's going to release tomorrow. Okay? Yes. Hey, all of you. Yeah, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Holy shit. I have a video coming out tomorrow, okay? And it'll probably drop like noon, maybe 12:30. And it's all about how and why Rebel Moon is going to take over Marvel and Star Wars, okay? So I need you guys to all go watch that video and share that video out, okay? You've got a friend that used to go with you to all the Marvel movies, but nowadays he's like, nah, I don't know, pro Marvel MCU woke or something like that. You go and you show him this video, right? Your grandma used to watch all the Star Wars sequel trilogy movies with you and take you there and give you a Werther's hard candy. But now she she thought Kenobi was real bad. I mean, she's right. Show your grandma this video about Rebel Moon. Basically, guys, I need you guys to watch this goddamn video and share this goddamn video out. Why do all the characters look woke and cringe? Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Watch the video. I'll explain it. Josh still slapping up grandmas? I mean, only when they don't like the video. Yeah. Do you see Snyder's comments on the projects he would turn to superhero directing? Dark Knight Returns, a Daredevil movie he would love to do. Imagine. Yeah. No, I did see that. Of course. I thought it was awesome. Yeah. I am Zactivated too, man. How do I reach these kids, Dante? I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, I still believe that Rebel Moon will do this. I think, I was thinking a lot about this. Like, this is real talk, okay? And I don't want to give away the video. But I don't really talk about this in the video. When do you think is the last time that we had a new IP that kind of blew up and kind of like took over the zeitgeist? Like, when do you think is the last time that something big happened? Is it, Invincible, maybe. The Boys, yeah, kind of. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. God, I remember Westworld Season 1. Squid Games, for sure. Squid Games was huge. I remember Westworld Season 1 was crazy. I don't know if you guys felt this way as well, but like, D&D, how dare you, Carl? I don't know if you guys felt this way, but when I was watching Westworld Season 1, I felt like we were like in a moment. Stranger Things, Avatar, yeah. Yeah, Avatar's a good one. Like, and even that second movie, I wasn't like blown away when I saw it in theaters, but we watched it again recently at home, and dude, it's crazy good. I really like it. I just think like the ability for things to kind of come out of nowhere now, like that's not necessarily how it happens, although I guess it can be perceived that way too. But I really think Rebel Moon has the goods. And I think that, the low barrier to entry by having it on Netflix and then by turning around and having the part 2 come out just a few months later, I do think it's going to be fire. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So I am, so we worked on a big video that'll drop tomorrow. I was hoping there would be like some more info or like another featurette or trailer that dropped today, but instead they're literally just going to show all of the movie, the whole ass movie to the people in Brazil. No wonder the Brazilians fucking love Zack Snyder. He's showing them the whole movie. That's crazy. So you got to check that out. And soon we will just be talking about Rebel Moon. It'll be a Rebel Moon channel. The whole channel will be Rebel Moon. So I'm excited for that. Why Brazil? Because that's where CCXP is. They have a big convention down there. Yeah. Josh going to Brazil? Nah, but maybe someday. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk Michael Waldren. Michael Waldren. I guess we should go to the polls here on YouTube. I wish there was a way to just do polls on all of the streams, but alas, it is not that way. So we'll close this poll. How should I even word this? Let's word it this way. Are you how do you feel about Michael Waldren writing Kang, Dynasty, and Secret Wars? And we'll go with love it, meh, and hate it. Boom. Just want to get a feel. For where everybody's is at with this. By the way, the reports, which came from My Time to Shine Hello, that Michael Waldron had been fired are not true. So I just wanted to bring that up because, look, I like My Time to Shine Hello. I think My Time to Shine Hello has very good sources, but she was dead ass wrong about this one. And she's also been kind of like campaigning for like how bad Michael Waldron is. So it's like, I don't know. Like, did she really hear that Michael Waldron was getting fired, or did she want to just say that and kind of like push that narrative online to try to make it seem like nobody wanted Michael Waldron to do the job? I'm not really sure. But regardless of all of that, I think it did shock a lot of people when I believe it was Deadline reported that Michael Waldron was indeed taking over writing duties from Jeff Loveness to write the Kang Dynasty. Is it even going to be called Kang Dynasty anymore? Not really sure. It seems like it probably will be. We've talked about this, but over the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of buzz around Doctor Doom and Marvel perhaps doing some kind of shifting into Doctor Doom or having Doctor Doom play a bigger role in this multiversal saga. It appears they're still going to go ahead with Kang. I believe there's going to be changes made. I think they're going to change things, but it seems like they'll still do Kang. They'll still do Kang Dynasty, and then still kind of have that as setting up Secret Wars. So again, when this was announced and when this came out, I saw a lot of people being like complaining a lot about this, saying it was a really bad idea. And I think that's crazy. I think that's absolutely crazy. Now, let's get one thing out of the way right now. Of course, I'm biased because I love Multiverse of Madness. I don't just like Multiverse of Madness. I love Multiverse of Madness. Slight side note on that, by the way. I'm thinking about doing an entire stream, and I'm wondering if you guys would be down with this, right? But I'm thinking about doing an entire stream where you know how when we watch the Disney Plus shows and then we break them down the following day, I'll usually like have the stream up and literally kind of go through the episode and like break down the different parts. I want to do an entire stream where I break down Multiverse of Madness and explain why it's a masterpiece and why everybody who doesn't understand that is wrong. You're wrong. So I don't know. Does that sound like a fun stream? Would that be cool? Yeah. That would be kind of fun, huh? Please don't. Oh, well, you don't have to show up then, Swift Sam. Real swift, huh? Make a poll for that? Well, hang on. Let's have this poll. Can we do one poll before we do the other poll? One poll at a time. Sheesh. I am game for you to change my mind on how they treated Wanda. Oh, well, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's going to happen. Perhaps I should clarify. I don't think it's a matter of me changing her opinion on how Wanda was handled. I guess what I would say is that Wanda was handled the exact way she needed to be in order to create the tension that is required to drive that movie forward. And I personally love it. I love it. But maybe we'll do that as a whole different thing, okay? Now, let's get back on track with the Michael Waldron thing. So, 3 big reasons. Because real talk, look, we joke, we kid, we meme, but a lot of people are like, bro, what the hell? And considering where Marvel is at, yeah, it's probably like shocking to some people where they're like, this is bad, you're doing this wrong. What? More Michael Waldron? The fuck? Okay. But I think the first thing that you need to realize here is his projects are commercial successes. Okay? So you look at Loki season 1, it is, I believe, to this day, still the most viewed season of Disney Plus television they've ever done. That includes things like Kenobi. As far as I understand it, Loki season 1 was the most watched Disney Plus show. Huge show. Now, the season 2, it doesn't have those numbers, man. It like dropped like 30-40% of viewership. Maybe it picked some up in the back end. I don't even know if we've really talked about that. But yeah, Loki season 2 didn't get there, right? The biggest, it's bigger than Mando 2 as well, from what I understand. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it was bigger than Mando 2. So that is their most successful show. right? And he kind of created that. Now, again, I know there's some people out there that have this narrative that Eric Martin was somehow... I'm not saying Eric Martin wasn't important to the creation of Loki, but I'm telling you, from what I understand and what I've heard, the bedrock of that show and the logic by which it sort of operates was all Michael Waldron. Like, that comes from Michael Waldron. Like, I think Eric Martin's awesome, and I actually really like the way he like interacted with people on Twitter. Super great guy, awesome dude, right? But there's a reason Waldron got like a mega deal and is developing all sorts of stuff along with Feige, and Eric Martin is not. Although I think Martin could elevate as well. Waldron is that guy. So number one, Loki season 1, massive commercial success. Multiverse of Madness. Outside of Spider-Man No Way Home, which of course was crazy, made all the money and was, an incredible experience. I had a blast. I know a lot of you guys had a blast. I'll never forget the stream we had after that movie came out that Friday morning. Bro, it was popping in the tower. Everybody was going nuts. It was just this like love fest of appreciation for what we had just seen and how epic it was. That movie, obviously huge. But outside of that movie, the highest grossing Marvel movie of the past several years has been Multiverse of Madness. Even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I think a lot of you guys like more than Multiverse of Madness. I get it. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is good. That's a good movie. Really good. But it did not make as much money as Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness is the biggest movie outside of that Spider-Man movie that they've done since Endgame. So, commercial success. They're making commercial art. It's obvious that a person that has that kind of pedigree that actually like delivers numbers, that's the kind of person that should continue to get the job and can continue to get the work. It's similar to Chris Pratt. A lot of people don't like Chris Pratt. A lot of people talk a lot of shit about Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt sells tickets. People go check out Chris Pratt movies. People fuck with Chris Pratt. That is why he keeps getting all these roles and everyone on Twitter keeps losing their goddamn minds, okay? So just like in the Michael Waldron situation, you have a guy who is perceived in certain circles in a certain way, but undeniably has delivered commercial success. So that's kind of, number one. Number two, they have to have liked what he delivered with Secret Wars, with the Secret Wars script, because he's been on that script for a long time. And, he's probably getting a lot of notes. We know that when it came to Multiverse of Madness, Waldron was writing so much. I mean, he did, how many different rewrites did he say? I think at one point he listed it as like in the 60s or 70s or something, like a crazy amount of rewrites, right? Because the whole thing was switching. It was supposed to come out before Spider-Man initially. That didn't happen, so they had to completely rework it. All kinds of crazy ideas. All sorts of different scenes and concepts that Waldron was coming up with. And so it's just it just has to be the case that through that process of the rewrites and of how that system over there at Marvel works, Waldron just obviously thrives in that environment. And he works well within that system. And on top of that, we don't know exactly what was going on in the Secret Wars script, but imagine, if you will, guys, a script that delivers absolute spectacle, bombast, and moments that will be moments we'll be talking about for years and years and years to come. Like, people talk about the portal scene in Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, that's now a moment in cinema. It'll be a thing that people talk about forever. So imagine Secret Wars with Waldron, and you're getting those kind of beats, but somehow also getting like great character stuff, like really good character stuff, and also probably switching it up constantly and just continuing to hit the ground running. So I think that Waldron, he must be really impressing everybody with his work on that film. There's also the thread of him doing the Star Wars movie, okay? So even though Kathy Kennedy wants to act like that was never a thing, even though Kevin Feige now awkwardly said he's not making that movie, up until even earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year, Waldren was working with Feige on making a Star Wars movie. So my thing on this really, guys, is like it feels as though Feige has been completely focused on Secret Wars and the future. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like a lot of the projects that he thought were important for, being stepping stones to Secret Wars, those are the projects that got his attention. A lot of other stuff didn't. So, Bob Iger recently said there weren't enough executives on the Marvel set, and it was shot during COVID and all of these different things, okay? A lot of people I don't know, man, people are weird, and they just took that all sorts of ways. But I think at the end of the day, what he's really saying was Kevin Feige wasn't there. I think that's what he's implying. That's what, if I read between the lines of what Bob's saying, it feels to me like what he's saying was, yeah, no, Kevin Feige wasn't really watching over this movie in the way that he did during the Infinity Saga. I think that's because he's been focused on the stuff that he thinks really matters and the stuff that is like Secret Warsy stuff. So just through that process of working with Waldren on Secret Wars, it probably just became obvious that he was the perfect guy to also tackle the Kang Dynasty. And I mean, that just makes complete sense to me. So you've got a guy who has delivered some of the most commercially successful stuff that Marvel has done over the past couple of years. You've got a guy that works really well within the system, that you have seen his work for Secret Wars, which to Feige is the most important thing, right? And yeah, man, you put that all together, and then you add in the fact that Multiverse of Madness was a masterpiece, and I know you still don't get it, but you're wrong. It is. And all of a sudden, man, I actually think this will be great, right? I think this will be great, and I think a lot of the people that are clowning this idea or that are upset about this idea, they're mad about a lot of different things that are going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One of those things is a lack of great writing. And I absolutely get that. But I think, especially when you consider how much rewriting, how much changing, how dynamic of a situation it was with Multiverse of Madness, to me, for him to be able to pull that off the way that he did, I'm super comfortable with it. Another thing that I think is great, dude, and that's got me super hyped up on Waldren and Secret Wars, is all the scenes that were supposed to be in Multiverse of Madness that got cut, right? So there was this entire bit in that movie where they were going to talk about how the Illuminati had handled the prophecy of Wanda within their universe. And they were going to have Michael Fassbender, Magneto, be approached by the Illuminati, and the Illuminati, and especially Charles Xavier, would explain what's going on with Wanda, and then Professor Xavier was going to lobotomize her. You know what I mean? Lobotomize her. So to me, I'm like, bro, that's wild. And I'm like, that is really fucking cool. It's really dark, and I can see why they didn't do it, actually. I think in order to make that scene work, you kind of need to present the Illuminati as heroes, almost, that Wanda sort of squishes, right? But at the end of the day, I watched a lot of Michael Waldron's interviews, and a lot of the ideas that he had, and a lot of the way that he would think of these scenes, I was like, dude, that's dope. That's really cool. And so, he strikes me as the kind of guy that I would want for sure. If I was tackling something of this magnitude, a guy that can work quick, that's good with studio notes, understands that we need to kill our darlings, is going to have this sort of unabated creativity that sort of flows through it all, understands the studio system, works well with Feige. It just makes perfect sense to me. So, yeah, I think it's a W, man. I think it's a W. So let's look at this poll result here. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So only 14% of you guys hate it. That's cool. 47% of you guys are meh on it, which is understandable. And then 39% of you love it. That is really interesting. I actually didn't expect that many people to love this move. But now that I've sort of given you the take and why I think it's great, how many of you guys have changed your mind? If you were hating the idea, but now you're a little bit more open to the idea, put a 1 into the chat. And I better see some fucking wars and Carl Jr. says 39% is not good. Throw 1 in the chat, Carl Jr., and shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I loved it already. Nice. Just because of that last part, my man. Me, because I clicked my vote. Jesus Christ. That's why we can't have nice things, guys. That's why we can't have nice things. Okay, so that's the take on Michael Waldron. At the end of the day, man, it doesn't solve all of our problems. It doesn't make all the pain go away. But I do think it's actually a good idea. More and more stuff's going to come out in the next couple of weeks, with the strikes being over and with everybody, hitting the ground running and trying to get these things back into production. I'm absolutely certain that we will hear some new information, some new news within the next couple of weeks. I guarantee it. Now, I did want to shift into some Deadpool 3 talk and just see what you guys think about some of this stuff too. But I think I liked Multiverse of Madness because of Raimi. Yeah, Raimi's great. Raimi's also the top choice to direct either Secret Wars or both of those movies. And again, like I'm sitting over here and I feel like I'm being handed all the Christmas presents. So that sounds perfect to me. I love Sam Raimi. He does go a little bit too quirky in some places and Illuma Wuddy maybe a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, again, I think that movie's a masterpiece. I think Raimi does all the little things right, and the movie is, it just goes. And I feel like it's a great version of Doctor Strange, a great rendition. It's a great character study for Doctor Strange. Like, bro, people get that movie so twisted. I think the movie, again, I think it's a masterpiece. And I think some of the things that are going on in that movie are like really subtle, really nuanced. And I think Waldron has this ability to take what is either, a studio directive or something they want to accomplish, and he's able to do it and yet pull out some kind of like, some nice notes, man. It's like you got to cook up this one dish, right? And it's like kind of a basic dish. But he's able to add in just a little bit of flavor and a little bit of spice in a way that it's like, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Deadpool 3, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a couple of weird leaks recently. Number one, there was a leak, and I don't even know how true this is, but it's really weird. There was a leak that recently suggested that you're going to get a Deadpool Wolverine hybrid. Basically like a Deadpool variant that has adamantium and adamantium claws. And maybe even like Wolverine type costume. Yeah. Look, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, that sounds really cool. On the other hand, it's like, but wouldn't that Wolverine be better than Wolverine and Deadpool? Like, that's like wild, It's crazy. It sort of speaks to how wild they might go with it. And, I was thinking about, we've got all these different variants of Deadpool, right? We've got Lady Pool, apparently, maybe, in the movie. Kid Pool, maybe, apparently, in the movie. Which I do hope it is the kid from, what was that? I think it's the Adam Project. Y'all ever watch that movie with Ryan Reynolds? The Adam Project? It's actually really good, man. That movie's good. So maybe that kid will be Kidpool. We've seen Dogpool. I think Ryan Reynolds himself, Dogpool. Ryan Reynolds himself showed the ugliest dog I've ever seen, which, by the way, my sister actually has a dog that looks just like that. Hideous dog. One of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, wow. But yeah, so you've got that going on. There's some rumors that maybe you'll see like a Daniel Radcliffe or a Taron Egerton Wolverine variant. And so you maybe get some of that flavor. And then I don't know how real this is, but like I think it was either Can We Get Some Toast or Alex Perez was sort of teasing that you might get a portal scene where all these variants of Deadpool come out of these portals and they're all going to like come in and try to like help all the Wolverines and Deadpools like fight against the bad guys or something like that. And I'm just like, bro, like what is this movie? So you've got a lot of that kind of stuff coming in there. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty wild. That's pretty funny. I wonder how crazy they're going to go with the variants and with like the portal scene and stuff like that, right? And then I think most recently we got word that Daphne Keane is going to probably reprise the role of Laura and be X-23 in the movie, which I think is cool. You know, I like Daphne Keane. I like that character. And I think it would be kind of fun to have her in there. And I actually probably think that they might even save her and have her pop up again in the MCU proper, sort of like after the reboot and whatnot. So she's good in Dark Materials. Yeah, I haven't watched that. Elisa watches that show, though. She said she was good in that. So, yeah, I don't know. Deadpool 3 is a really interesting one. You know, there were these leaks that came out. Remember the 4chan leaks that everybody started talking about? And then the one guy basically admitted that he made all that shit up. Now, strangely, he gets a couple of things right in those leaks. And so, like, all the scoopers, I remember, like, all the scoopers and insiders were, like, they were signaling, go check out these 4chan leaks, right? So now we're at a point where we realize a lot of that is not real. And I think, you know, the real story of Deadpool 3, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the real story, like what the movie's really about, is it's going to be about Wolverine trying to either get back to his universe or basically just get away from the TVA. Because Wolverine, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, will be the prime Wolverine that like the TVA have grabbed up, right? And I think Deadpool is going to be a prisoner of the TVA. And he will either escape or be coerced into helping them out, much like Loki did. And then he's going to see Hugh Jackman Wolverine. And it's literally just going to be a bromance film where all Deadpool wants is to be Hugh Jackman Wolverine's BFF. Like, that is all he wants. And the movie itself is just going to follow that. Like, that's the basic idea. And there's all this crazy shit that's going to be going on kind of around them. And I think, like, Wolverine will be wanting to get back to his universe. Deadpool will want to take Logan there only just so that he gets some brownie points and becomes his BFF. And so I think that, like, at the core of the movie, it's really just going to be Deadpool wants to be loved by Hugh Jackman Wolverine. You know what I mean? So, like, that seems really fun. And I'm just really curious as to, like, how they're going to play on that theme in the middle of all this crazy multiversal stuff. But the other side of this, right, is that from the studio's perspective, I mean, they are so hyped on Deadpool 3. They realize that Deadpool 3 is one of the most exciting, important movies that they have lined up. It's the only proper Marvel Studios movie that's coming out next year. And they want it to excite people, to be awesome, to be like Spider-Man No Way Home-esque, with a lot of the X-Men returning. And it's supposed to be the movie that really turns things around for Marvel and becomes this really exciting movie that everybody's hyped up to see, right? So that sounds really fun. I like the X-23 thing. The portal scene sounds a little wild, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like. The Wolverine Deadpool to me is like, that's a little wild. That's a little crazy. So yeah, I guess we'll just see. And I think more stuff's going to come out about that because they're shooting that movie again right now. And they definitely want to hit that next summer release date. And so that's going to be a super important big deal for them. And yeah, so I just wanted to go over some of those leaks and some of those reports. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, what do you think about that general plot of the movie? And also, like, are you down for like a portal scene with a bunch of Wolverines and Deadpools popping out? That sounds a little crazy, no? Is it too wild? W? Is it a dub? Is it a dub? I'm just peeking at some of these other platforms just to see how we're doing over here. It's crazy. Like, I like multi-streaming, but it's like, damn, there's like no discoverability on some of these other streaming services, right? Like, it's wild, but we'll look into it. We'll try to figure it out. As long as it's not hurting the YouTube audience, I'm still open to it. I'm so good to it. Imagine a multiple variant shot. I know, right? A portal scene where most of the heroes get killed as they come through would be pretty funny. That's true. That would be funny. You're cheating on us with other chats? Yes. Harry Potter Wolverine? Yeah, that would be funny. That would be pretty cool. Okay, let me... There was a Screen Crush video that Trev sent me that he said would be kind of interesting to watch. Let me see here. Untold story. How Ahsoka set up the return of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's kind of interesting. Should we watch that? Should we react to it? I want an alligator Deadpool. What does that even mean? I'm not sure. But I figured we could watch it. And then if we don't like the video, we can blame Trev. So it's like a win-win. Do you think we'll ever see Onslaught in the MCU? Dude, that would be sick. I like Onslaught a lot. I would say, why not, man? Why not do all the cool comic book things? Can we blame Trev even if we do like it? Yes. Yes, I will allow that. What do you think of the Silk show they're making that's a part of the SSU? I don't know. I've heard that's like kind of locked up in development hell. I haven't really heard anything about Silk in a long time. So, look, Silk's a cool character. Like, Cindy Moon's kind of fun. But... I mean, look at the current track record of Sony, and I just don't know, you know? Okay. Are we ready? Watch the Halo Remember video I sent you on Twitter a while ago. Wait, what? Halo Remember? What do you mean? Can you send it to me again, bro? Send it to me in the DM. All right, let's give this video a shot. And again, if we don't like it, we can blame Trev.
Is ancient, Like a world between worlds.
Oh my god, it's a world between worlds, guys.
Hey, welcome back, Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy. So, since Ahsoka's 5th episode, Shadow Warrior, a lot more people have become familiar with the world between worlds. You know, that weird realm that connects all of time and space in the Star Wars universe. Kind of like the warp levels in Super Mario
Hey, what's
Brothers
up?
with a dash of the rainbow road.
Heard?
It's called a road, it's called a rainbow road. It is a road that you go.
So that got us wondering, who else has been to the world between worlds besides Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger? Who first found himself there on Star Wars Rebels? I mean, if it's been sitting in the Star Wars galaxy since, I guess, the beginning of time, surely other Star Wars characters have visited this place at some point. Probably ones who have powerful connections to the Force, you know, like Ben Kenobi.
That wizard's just a crazy old man.
In fact, I think it's actually quite likely that Obi-Wan has visited the world between worlds before. The evidence is right there in the movies. Now, before I get ahead of myself, let me quickly go over what the world between worlds actually is, when we've seen it, and why it seems like Obi-Wan is no stranger to this place.
But I was only in there to get directions on how to get away from there.
I'm also going to talk about how the world between worlds might even be how Obi-Wan became a Force ghost. How maybe it's the key to understanding how all Force ghosts work in Star Wars.
I agree.
But first, let's talk about the world between worlds, also known as the Virgin Scatter, which was first introduced in Star Wars Rebels. Now, when it debuted, it was pretty controversial for a lot of Star Wars fans because it was one of the biggest
dog is pretty awesome.
to the mythology.
He's
in
selling
a long
plushies,
time.
isn't he?
And
of the
it
dog.
kind of changed how the whole universe operates in Star Wars. It even looked a lot different from the aesthetics we associate with Star Wars. It looked more like it's out of 2010's Tron Legacy. It's a
that movie was
metaphysical
lit.
gateway dimension that has portals to different locations.
So they're making another sidebar here, but they're making another one of them, Johns, right? With Morbius, right? Doug? Yeah, Doug's name is the dog, yeah. They're making more Tron with Morbius? It's a trick and nothing to make fun of. I don't know what that means, Melissa. I must be missing context, but yes. Nice, man. I'm down for more Tron with Morbius. That's a cool crossover.
Across the Star Wars galaxy, and maybe even other galaxies. More importantly, these portals also go to different time periods, meaning that someone could use the world between worlds to travel through time.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Now, Ezra Bridger used the world between worlds to rescue Ahsoka Tano in the past, which is how Ahsoka first learned of its existence. In episode 5 of her own show, we see her speak to and duel with Anakin Skywalker in the world between worlds. Or was it? We recently made another video going deeper into that encounter between Ahsoka and her former master, where we wondered if maybe it wasn't the world between worlds at all, but instead a Force vision that happened entirely in her head. The show kind of leaves it unclear, but you know what, really it could be either. But let's just
I think that's kind of an interesting one, right? Like your interpretation of this scene, I think it can work on the surface level for sure. But I also think there are clues and evidence to suggest that it's way more than that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it was really Anakin? Or do you think it was a vision? Right, exactly. Why did the kid hear it? Yeah. Yeah. No, it was Anakin. I mean, and I think to me, the way I interpret it is it's Anakin, and that is Anakin as the father. And I think also the evidence of him using the dark side and the light side and sort of trying to teach her this lesson and trying to kind of prepare her really feels like something associated with the father and the Mortis gods to me, particularly because, at the end of the show, when you see Anakin there as a Force ghost, and you also see like the Morai, right? That basically implies that like something really cosmic is going on here, something that's connected to likely the Mortis gods and the cosmic force. And, Ahsoka either being the daughter or having some of the power of the daughter, because there's a life essence transfer thing that they do on Mortis, right? She is in some way a being that could potentially stand up to Abeloth. So in Legends, Abeloth is trapped, but there would be times where like the Mortis gods would be required to kind of go there and keep her trapped or allow her to or not allow her to leave. Yeah, it just kind of feels like that's the way that it's all going. But yeah, like my interpretation is like that's 100% Anakin.
Assumed that it was the world between worlds in Ahsoka, the same metaphysical space that we've already seen in Rebels. Sure, it looks a little different, but we did only briefly see it in Rebels. We don't even know that that was all of it. In fact, it probably wasn't. It would be a little weird if the interdimensional hub that can connect to any point in all of time and space is like smaller than Madison Square Garden.
It's pretty big, I guess.
Ahsoka had fallen off a cliff and was later rescued nearby in the same ocean. So, if she was in the actual world between worlds, that means that she kind of instantly teleported there, which isn't so hard to believe. I mean, it's literally a mystical realm that transports you through time. It doesn't need to have like a physical front door that you need to walk through just to get inside.
I'd better knock, I suppose.
Ahsoka traveled there through...
Yo, and I know this is kind of controversial too, but like, Mortis to me is the world between worlds. Like, when you go back, when they first arrive on Mortis, it actually even looks like the world between worlds. The platform where they do the life essence transfer looks like the world between worlds. When Anakin goes up to meet the father, there is a line of seemingly stone statues of the portals and the flames as he's going up to meet him. So, like, I think it's all the same thing. And it is essentially like, the Celestials had this place of like a bootstrap white room kind of preload program for the entire physical reality. It's kind of what it feels like to me. So I think the Mortis gods can like make the world between worlds look like whatever they want. And so like when Anakin destroys the bridge and she falls down, like that's just him changing what the world between worlds looks like, and like taking her through her own memories and
Force,
such.
Whether it was just her spirit or her whole physical body somehow went there and then came back again. I would bet, though, that any Force user with enough power and practice could will themselves to go there through deep meditation and communication with the Force. And you know who had plenty of downtime for deep meditation and communication with the Force? Detroit? No, dude, not Detroit. Why would it be Detroit? I don't know. I hear people talk about Detroit sometimes. No, not Detroit. Obi-Wan Kenobi. He spent a lot of time alone in the desert on Tatooine, and it's not like there was much else to do after a day at the Desert Whale Factory.
Knife goes in, guts come out. Knife goes in, guts come out.
After saving Leia and confronting Vader 9 years before the events of A New Hope, Obi-Wan makes a renewed effort to connect to the Force. It's probably in these years, with Qui-Gon's guidance, that he was able to meditate deep enough to visit the world between worlds.
That's possible. There's this theory that a lot of people have about points around the galaxy. You call them like nexus points. So some people believe that Dagobah and the cave is one of these nexus points. And so I think it's in the first season, maybe the second season of Rebels, Ezra has a conversation with Yoda. And it looks like Yoda is on a platform that resembles the world between worlds. And so there's even speculation on like, is that even the real Yoda? If it is the real Yoda, then it's possible that Yoda is there communicating via the nexus point into the world between worlds that Ezra has entered through the temple on Lothal. I think it's on Lothal at that point, right? Where he goes to get his crystal, So are there nexus points? Because in Legends, there were the Celestials that had like basically God level technology indistinguishable from magic. But there was the Qua who created and cultivated these different teleport points that would go from like one planet to the other one instantly, which were said to be like a take on or a version of the technology that the Celestials had. So it's possible that the Celestials and the world between worlds is like the top, like upper level of interdimensional technology. And maybe the points like between Dagobah and even Coruscant, because there was a Sith temple and a Virgins there, and a Jedi temple gets built over it. And then on Lothal, on Dagobah, maybe on some other places, that would have these sort of nexus points that were maybe able to tap into the technology that the Celestials had. But
After all, at
I'm getting
this
way too
point,
distracted. I'm
Obi-Wan
sorry.
is a Jedi Master, arguably one of the best to ever do it. But Qui-Gon implies that he has a lot of training ahead of him.
Come on, you've got a ways to go.
So what is he teaching him? How to be a Force ghost? Well, we'll get to that, but he was probably also teaching him about the world between worlds and how to meditate hard enough to take himself there at will. There, Obi-Wan could access some of the major events in Star Wars history, including,
from a certain point of view,
the future.
If Obi-Wan could travel through time, why wouldn't he stop the Empire from ever forming? He could just go back and kill Palpatine when he was a baby.
Somehow Palpatine never existed.
Well, now you see why the world between worlds is so controversial for a lot of us fans. The fact is, it's still very unclear how time travel and altering the past works in Star Wars. Ezra saved Ahsoka, but it didn't really change the way events unfolded after she disappeared. Maybe history can change. Maybe every change creates a new alternate timeline. Or maybe everything always happens the way it's supposed to happen, including time travel. Kind of like in Lost.
It was really confusing.
Yeah, well, get used to it.
So, Obi-Wan never changed the past, but he could see the future. He may have even seen that Luke would one day be able to defeat Vader and end the Empire, but he would need his sister Leia to do it. That's what...
Yeah, it's so interesting. And it also kind of makes you think, because another like big mysterious part of Ahsoka is why did they change that sequence? Apparently, initially, it was meant to show you alternate timelines and why destiny will always take things into a certain point, right? And so they kind of abandoned that. And I wonder if there was any like conversations behind the scenes or, between Dave and some other people where they were like, well, we can't really introduce this idea because it kind of breaks the fans' understanding of how time and consequences work, within Star Wars. I don't know. It's interesting because like Dave has said, it's really not about time travel. Really, it's not. It's more about wisdom and like gaining knowledge, like cosmic knowledge. So yeah, like I wonder. It is interesting to contemplate. Like, I guess like what I would love to know is like what's in Dave's notebook, like what's on his whiteboard, like how does he actually see this? Because he would never like let that out publicly. He would never like speak that. He would keep it very vague and mysterious. But I'm sure he has some kind of understanding that personally, a way that he puts it together for himself,
Why, in A New Hope, once Obi-Wan sees that Luke and Leia are reunited, he knows that events are on the right track. He can then allow himself to be sacrificed and not worry about the rebellion still needing him around, at least corporeally speaking. This could also be how Obi-Wan traveled even further into the future, all the way to the sequel trilogy. Remember, Rey hears his voice in The Force Awakens. And then again in Rise of Skywalker.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Remember that Force users can hear sounds emanating from the world between worlds even if they're still on terra firma. Jason was able to hear Ahsoka and Anakin dueling with their lightsabers. So when Rey hears Obi-Wan's voice, he could literally just be standing outside the door that leads to the time of the sequels, whispering sweet nothings through the portal.
Do I smell Pantene?
Do I smell?
Now maybe he did the exact same thing to Luke during the Death Star trench run.
use the Force, Luke.
Now see, that's just silly. That wasn't Obi-Wan Kenobi alive in the world between worlds. That was his Force ghost.
Okay, so that's a good point. So let's talk about why some Jedi are Force ghosts and others are not. And that will help you understand why Anakin was in the world between worlds and why that is proof that Obi-Wan is in the world between worlds as well. So the Force really works in two ways. There's the cosmic Force that guides the will of the galaxy. May the Force be with you, etc.
May the Force be with you.
I've encountered divergence in the Force.
Will bring balance to the Force.
Was the will of the Force.
And then there is the living Force. That is the energy that's actually generated by all living things. Now, most Jedi focus their attention on the will of the cosmic Force, but Qui-Gon Jinn was a student of the living Force. It's why he told Obi-Wan,
"Be mindful of the living Force, young Padawan."
Now, because Qui-Gon was so focused on the living energy of the Force, his mind was able to remain intact after his death, which is why we hear Qui-Gon's voice in Yoda's vision in Episode 2, and why Yoda tells Obi-Wan,
"In your solitude, training I have for you, your old master, how to commune with him I will teach you.
So Qui-Gon developed this technique to hang on to his consciousness, and then Yoda learned it in a Clone Wars arc. And then Qui-Gon's ghost taught it to Obi-Wan, and presumably Obi-Wan's spirit taught this to Luke, and Luke taught it to Leia, so that's why they're all Force ghosts.
But then why does Anakin become a Force ghost?
Well, there is a short story in Return of the Jedi from a certain point of view that is from the point of view of Anakin's spirit as Obi-Wan welcomes him back from the beyond. So Obi-Wan actually taught Anakin's spirit how to hold on through the living Force. So if Anakin's spirit is able to appear in the world between worlds, then it would make sense if Obi-Wan, Yoda, Luke, and the rest can also reside in this realm. So whenever Obi-Wan talks to Luke in A New Hope, Obi-Wan has accessed this moment through a portal in the world between worlds to give Luke these instructions. And this also fits in perfectly with another aspect of the world between worlds. See, you can't really use the realm to access any point in space and time. The portals only seem to access important places or events that connect to the Force.
Yeah, so that's like another it's kind of weird, right? Because Dave has talked about how it's a point where all space and time converge. So like technically speaking, you can access every single point, but it's kind of all like converging and like coming into existence all at once. I think the visual language of the world between worlds is meant to evoke something like a tesseract, not like from Marvel, but like in physics. A tesseract is like a 5D object, and it's like actually maybe impossible for the human mind to actually conceive what it is and what it looks like. But I think the visual language here is meant to give us some kind of a representation of like infinite that feels finite, like something that we can wrap our heads around that has depth beyond anything we can really conceive. Yeah, it's just so crazy. And then also like when he was talking about like the living force and the cosmic force, this is something that's kind of, you know, confusing about Star Wars, but it reminds me a lot of like Nirvana, right? So within, I guess you could call it Buddhism, but really it's more like Buddhist Hindu belief. There are two ways to approach Nirvana. One is you get Nirvana, you kind of just, I guess like assimilate with it or just become one with it, and like you're in Nirvana. It's like absolute bliss, perfect, like heaven, the highest level a being can achieve, right? But Buddha and some others go to Nirvana and then they come back. The whole idea is like they get there, but then they come back, and they come back because they want to try to help guide others to Nirvana. But some Buddhists are like borderline nihilistic, because to them, only thing that matters is getting to Nirvana. And once you get it there, well, fuck it, man. Like you're in Nirvana, like everything's great. You don't need anything else, right? So I wonder, there's got to be some of that in there too, where if you think about what this is, it's like in the living force, you would be an individual. You have like the cosmic force that flows into you as a living being, but you're a living being, finite in nature. You have an identity. And when you die, that energy, that power, that stuff goes back into the cosmic force. But what the Jedi are doing that are staying like alive when they come back as Force ghosts, or with Qui-Gon, you know, before Kenobi, it was just as a voice. It's like they die, they go into the cosmic force or Nirvana or like, you know, the afterlife or whatever you want to call it. But then they come back. It's like they retain the individual like mind, spirit, and identity and come back to the living force. I think basically with the goal to help guide things to a place where more people can do that and there's balance and it's not like bad. But it's like, why? Like, why would they need and feel the need to come back? And then I think like Anakin is actually different. So I would describe like why Anakin becomes a Force ghost and why he's able to be in the world between worlds as different, because he's not just a mortal man. He's born of the ones. He's like born of celestial lineage in some ways. So like he's always kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like he's always capable of things that normal mortal people are not. And maybe even if it's just as simple as having the right sequence to get into this area, you know, maybe that's what it is. But it's like, if we think about it, Anakin dies and he's in the world between worlds and he's also a Force ghost. Like, he's both. And there's something implied in that one sequel book too, where Luke is in trouble. He's in some kind of vision. Reminds me a lot of like in the Legends books. Ah, man, there were these things and these people called the Mind Walkers, I think is what they were called. And they were able to like use their minds to go into different realms, including maybe Mortis. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
For example, we have the deaths of Jedi, or very famous duels, and this is why Obi-Wan only appears to Luke at certain key moments, like at a near-death experience or on the Force planet of Dagobah. So we think that there's a way that these Force ghosts can find the time and space they want and then communicate through the portal rather than physically enter it like Ezra did on Rebels. In fact, this is probably a built-in failsafe to keep people from directly altering the past. Then again, it's also possible that this was not Anakin's Force ghost, or that Force ghosts aren't even real ghosts. See, what if the world between worlds can store psychic imprints of the Jedi who have connected with it, shadows of themselves that look like them and think like them and have their memories, kind of like the holograms of Jor-El in Man of Steel or Harry Seldon in Foundation. That way, Jedi who really do deserve to go to paradise after they die, like Yoda and Obi-Wan, still get to go to Jedi heaven. The world between worlds keeps a sort of copy of them behind for the benefit of everyone else, while still letting them fully move on to wherever it is we go when we die. Since the world between worlds exists outside of time, like the TVA and Loki, once a Force ghost is left in there, it can then interact with anyone at any point in the past, present, or future. If this is the case, when someone like Luke or Rey is communicating with a Force ghost, they're actually connecting with and interfacing with the world between worlds, which is why other people cannot see Force ghosts. Typically, Force users are interacting with physical reality, moving things around, defying gravity, healing wounds, generating lightning.
It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
But part of the Force, like visions and dreams of the future, don't have a basis in the physical world. Those clairvoyant powers come from the living Force and are probably connected to the fourth dimensional world between worlds. Anakin's nightmares about Padme dying during childbirth are not prophecies, but instead they're him subconsciously tapping into the world between worlds and seeing things that, fourth dimensionally, are already occurring. So communicating with Force ghosts, or shadows of the Jedi that are preserved within the world between worlds, would be another aspect of that power. Qui-Gon Jinn was a big believer in the living Force, and he was the first character we saw outside of the expanded universe to become a Force ghost and communicate with the living. So it tracks that all of this is connected in this way. So bringing it all back to Ahsoka, that's exactly what Hayden Christensen was playing. He was not Anakin's Force ghost, or part of a spirit left behind, or a manifested memory of Ahsoka's. He was somehow all of the above. He didn't glow blue because Ahsoka was dealing with him directly in the world between worlds instead of channeling him there from the physical world like Luke usually would. If this is the case, then the world between worlds can be used to access Force ghosts for the rest of time. You don't have to worry about Yoda or Obi-Wan eventually passing on to heaven or whatever. Copies of their essence will always be at the ready for advice. And we've seen Obi-Wan appear to Luke and speak to Rey, but if he accessed the world between worlds during his exile and left a psychic imprint of himself there, then we could see him again.
Hello there.
Ewan McGregor seemed to be having fun coming back for his own series.
Made me feel like a kid again.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up again as Obi-Wan at some point, whether it's the Heir to the Empire movie or even something unexpected like The Acolyte. If Force ghosts transcend time, then there's no reason he can't show up hundreds of years in the past. Now, if Force ghosts really do originate in the Virgin Scatter, it could have some exciting possibilities for the upcoming Star Wars films. For example, the Chain Worlds theorem, that's the in-universe explanation of the world between worlds, is actually found in one of the Jedi texts that Luke kept on Fishman Island.
Oh, that's interesting.
We specifically see Rey save this text before the tree library burns down. Maybe in the upcoming new trilogy of Star Wars movies starring Rey, we will see her use what she's learned to visit the world between worlds herself. She can communicate with previous visitors turned Force ghosts like Luke, Yoda, and Obi-Wan. She can even learn how to leave an imprint of herself behind, so that in Star Wars stories years from now, even Rey can return as a Force ghost.
Somehow return.
That's why the Yoda of the original trilogy, who traveled into the future and saw Rey save the scrolls that she needed in the future trilogy, knew that it was okay to burn down the library in the sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
It was really confusing.
So, what did you guys think of this theory? Big shout out to the writer Jack Picone. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below.
I mean, it's a cool theory. It's a cool theory. I just don't know that there's enough there to like really like. If you're asking me, do I think that the world between worlds could continue to play a role in Star Wars? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think Rey and the journey that she goes on might take her to some cosmic stuff, maybe some world between worlds stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that Obi-Wan used the world between worlds to go through time and stuff like that? No, I do not. I do not believe that. But I think like the difference is like it feels like there's just a lot of these sort of Zen things going on with the world between worlds. Like, what is the difference between having such wisdom that you know you can't tinker with time and not having the ability to tinker through time? Like, they're functionally the same thing, you know? And it's like maybe the only people that have access to that place are the people that have the wisdom to not abuse it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't really know. I feel like the way that the world between worlds serves the story is not through a tangible, like, let's jump through time kind of a place, but it's more used as a sort of tool to bring cool concepts of lessons and learning and growth to like a really fun cosmic kind of a stage. You know what I mean? So it's like weird. Ezra abused it to save Ahsoka. But did he? Or was he always meant to do that? You know what I mean? Like, was Ahsoka coming into the world between worlds always supposed to happen? I mean, it's implied that when she quote unquote dies in episode 5, and I do think she's dead and she comes back to life, she goes to the world between worlds either way. Maybe she would have showed up there like either way. But yeah, no, it's interesting, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff there, but I do think that like the world between worlds, it's a hella confusing, like, stay away from that time travel stuff, man. You don't want to be going crazy on the time travel stuff with Star Wars. I think that's a bad combination, as Drake would say. Yeah, cool video. What should we say? What should we say to Trev? Was that worth our time, or are we mad at Trev? I don't know. What do you guys think? Was that chill or nah? Are we mad? Oh no, I hear a baby boy out there crying. What's going on with that baby boy out there? Watch mine now? What's your video about? I just reported him for spam. Oh, okay, right on. Still mad at him for the house comment? I didn't see what the house comment is. Check Discord to get triggered? Oh, great. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, man, love getting triggered. Let's go. Doctor Strange, the multiverse of Matt. Oh, yeah. So Mahler did a big video talking about it, huh? Yeah, I've seen this one too. But this video is like a half hour, dude. I just don't know that I want to watch a half hour video. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole thing, because that'll be like 40 plus minutes. The culty video? How long's the culty video? Because I did see, actually was interested. How long's that? It's like 22 minutes, but maybe it's not the whole thing. Yo, I kind of want to watch this culty video. Let's watch this culty video, because I know it's not going to be the actual full-on length here, because he usually like ends it a couple minutes before and has like questions and stuff that he does, right? Yeah, shorter video.
Some of these new Thor 5 reports, because I'm quite interested in the prospect of Thor 5.
Yeah.
And recently we've been hearing these reports coming out from various outlets that Marvel Studios are in the process of developing Thor 5. And these reports are saying that Marvel Studios apparently want Thor 5 to be a more serious Thor film, and that because of that they are looking at more serious directors like perhaps Gareth Edwards. And Gareth Edwards directed Rogue One, as well as more recently he did The Creator. And The Creator was really good, but kind of boring, but still good.
This is not good. That movie's horrible. I'm sorry. All these people that are like, oh, it's so brilliant. Oh, it's so brilliant. Wrong. Oh, my God. 2 of these movies on the screen right here, I walked out of the movie theater. So I kind of don't hope it's... Anyway.
Good, but after seeing The Creator, I was like, yeah, if that guy did Thor 5 with the right script, I think it could be really good.
If they hire somebody else to come in and fix it after he makes it goobly glob, yes.
And this news of Marvel Studios moving forward with Thor 5 is not at all surprising in my opinion, because even though Thor Love and Thunder was widely panned by the fan base...
Horrible! It was horrible!
With the Loki finale just coming out and being widely praised by critics and fans alike, it's not all that surprising that Marvel Studios would then greenlight Thor 5 and move into a more serious direction, because I think Marvel Studios probably wants to build on that hype and vibe of Loki Season 2, and that the next logical place to do that would be in a 5th Thor movie.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, we're going to talk a bit about what Marvel Studios have already confirmed about Thor and Loki's return later on down the line, and also how Thor 5 could build off of Thor 4, and also how Thor 5 could tie into the bigger narrative of the multiverse saga.
Ooh!
But first, before we get to everything, make sure and check out the most recent video I put out a few days ago on Kang.
Yo, let me ask you guys something real quick, chat, because I'm working on a big theory video that's talking about the infinity beings, and how, like, Loki now appears to kind of be an actual representation of the Time Stone. Wanda may well be an actual representation of the Reality Stone. I think Thor could also be one of those beings. What do you guys think of that?
And Doctor Doom, if you missed that one. It covers all the different possible ways that Marvel Studios could move forward with both Kang and Doctor Doom, or just one or the other, or, you know, all the different possibilities that they have when it comes to those characters. So yeah, check it out if you missed it. It is a good one. And as always, make sure you watch until the end of the video, because we do have super thanks, comments, and questions to respond to. And on that note, of course, don't forget that if you would like to leave a super thanks with a question or a comment on this video, then I will read.
I'd say Power. I think Power makes the most sense for him.
And yeah, besides that, let's get into it.
Didn't you already do that video? No. I've talked about it in other videos, but I want to do a dedicated video that explains that.
I would say season 1 and season 2 were developed and created as like kind of 2 chapters of the same book. And season 2 was about closing that book, but that there are many other books on the shelf for this character and for this world.
Okay, so like I said in the intro, with these new reports coming out regarding Thor 5, the most likely scenario is that Marvel Studios will look to use Thor 5 to reunite Thor and Loki and try to build off the finale of Loki Season 2. But something I haven't really seen being discussed very much is that Marvel Studios have already basically confirmed that this is their plan.
That's true, yeah.
Because a few weeks ago, when Marvel was heavily promoting Loki Season 2, Loki executive producer Kevin Wright was making the rounds and giving tons of interviews. And not once, but several times, Kevin Wright said in these interviews that Marvel Studios' ultimate goal with Loki is to have him reunite with Thor.
Cool.
And that the ultimate goal is for the sun to shine on both of them again.
Let's go.
Quoting Loki's famous line from Avengers Infinity War.
I assure you, brother, the sun will shine on us again.
Now, before we go on, I should note that just because Kevin Wright has basically confirmed that we will eventually see Thor and Loki reunite, it doesn't necessarily mean that that will for sure happen in Thor 5. Because after the ending of Loki Season 2, it's pretty clear that Loki will most likely be a central figure in the upcoming Avengers movie.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So it's always possible that Marvel Studios will save their reunion for one of those two Avengers films.
I would say so.
However, I do think it makes a lot more sense for Marvel to have that reunion happen in Thor 5. That way, the story can really focus on Loki and Thor's relationship and that character development, as opposed to that being relegated as a side plot in the Avengers movies.
That's fair. I don't know, man. I think that before you just bring Loki into Thor's story again, I feel like Thor needs some actual care and some growth himself. Loki has had a phenomenal arc in his own show. It's been great, and we've had a lot of time, because it's 2 episodes of television, or 2 seasons of episodic television. You've had a lot of time to sit with that character and go through that journey with him. Thor has not had that. Thor's kind of had the opposite. Thor had, in my opinion, Love and Thunder, reverts the character to a place before his meaningful arcs. The way he's acting and the arrogance and just he's simultaneously a lost puppy and also a total dweeb that has not learned any of the lessons that he even learned in Thor 1. You know what I mean? So with all the just chaos and destruction and that beginning sequence when he's with the Guardians, that is not growth. He's still just the same that he was. So Thor needs to go on some serious growth. And I personally kind of feel like he needs to do that without his brother so that they can meet as characters that have both come to a really cool place,
And once Loki and Thor do reunite, it's hard to know for sure what exactly that will look like, how that'll go down. But with how much Loki has evolved throughout Loki Season 1 and Loki Season 2 into a more kind of heroic, altruistic character, it would probably be likely that this reunion in Thor 5 or whatever project would probably be the first time that Loki and Thor were truly working together and not against each other in some way. And we've seen them care for each other, and that explored a little bit in Thor Ragnarok and at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. But like I said, that was very little. This could be the first time that we could really see them come together and kind of form that bond without all the distrust. And in the finale of Loki Season 2, we saw how Loki fully embraced how powerful he truly is as a god when he became the god of stories and used his Asgardian powers to hold together all the branched timelines,
really
forming
strong.
the multiverse into this representation of Yggdrasil, the world's tree. And one thing I really dug about that Loki Season 2 finale was how it really wrapped the whole concept of Asgardian mythology into the broader concept of the multiverse.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if this could mean that Asgardian mythology and Asgardian gods like Thor and Loki might end up being key characters in how some of these larger cosmic beings will also play into the bigger narrative of the multiverse side.
Yeah, I think that's a fair
Because
point.
as we've seen in Phase 4, Marvel Studios have started to slowly introduce some of the biggest cosmic entities from the comics, like the Celestials and the Watcher. And in Thor Love and Thunder, we were introduced to a location at the center of the universe called the Gates of Eternity, which included these statues to all the major cosmic beings, including the Celestials, the Watcher, the Living Tribunal, Eon, Death, Infinity, and then, of course, Eternity.
Right.
But what I thought was interesting about this is that the only way for a character to travel to the Gates of Eternity was using Stormbreaker to access the Bifrost.
That is
basically,
interesting.
This was somehow the key to entering and finding this sacred cosmic location connected to eternity. And, you know, it makes me wonder why that is, and if perhaps Asgardian magic and mythology will also end up playing into the bigger role of some of these other cosmic beings in the multiverse saga, and how they could potentially tie into this bigger story of everything that's going to culminate in Secret Wars.
Yeah, I kind of like that. You know, we've been talking about technology and magic, and how the sort of combination of technology and magic is really what I think it's going to be a very important thread in like understanding the greater fabric, how this all fits together, right? And it is kind of cool that Thor is one of the first characters in the entire MCU to bring this up. Like he says to Jane in the first Thor movie, what you call science, you know, we refer to as magic, or what you refer to as magic is technology that we have that you don't understand. And so I wonder if the Asgardians, being some of the oldest beings in the known universe, especially like Odin, right? I mean, like, how old was Odin when he died? I don't know if we get a full answer of that, but like, yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if the Asgardians do have some kind of a link to these other greater beings. Something that maybe we'll discover is that perhaps why Loki is able to do what he's able to do. Even in the big breakdown video I did, I was like, well, you know, Asgardians do get more powerful as they age, and, you know, Odin puts some of the Odin force into Loki when he's a child, and, you know, I wonder if that has anything to do with how Loki is able to do what he does in the finale. But that's cool. I like where his head's at with this. This is kind of cool.
The cosmic entities did have a small but key role in Jonathan Hickman's Incursion saga.
Yeah, they get slaughtered.
Because we saw the Beyonders go to war with these cosmic beings and destroy all of them, so that these cosmic beings wouldn't interfere with the Beyonders' bigger plans to destroy the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
So with the incursions kind of coming into focus more as we go forward into movies like Deadpool 3 and then other projects in Phase 6, and with everything building towards the Avengers Secret Wars movie, it does make me wonder how the cosmic entities will potentially fit into all of that, and if they will perhaps try to intervene somehow like they did in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if Marvel Studios does write the cosmic beings into this bigger story in some way, maybe Thor, Loki, and Asgardian mythos will kind of tie into all of that, kind of building off of the whole Gates of Eternity scene in Thor Love and Thunder, and having Asgardian magic and perhaps other Asgardian relics, or, you know, something like that, tie into communicating with some of these characters or locating them, or I don't know, but just connect to that in some way to just build off of what was already set up in Thor 4. Because we do know that Thor and the Asgardians were deeply connected to certain cosmic entities and gods in the comics, like Gaia and the different elder gods, and with how Thor Love and Thunder really did dig really deep into the mythology of cosmic entities in the MCU, and also setting up all the different cosmic gods of the MCU when we saw the Halls of Olympus. It really does feel like Marvel Studios may be trying to kind of tie in some of the cosmic entities and cosmic gods into that bigger lore of Asgard and Thor in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, look, I thought Thor Love and Thunder was huge.
And is that like where this is going, right? Like the idea of power, you know, and is Thor going to tap into that as some kind of expression or arbiter for power itself?
Hugely disappointing, because I really
when you think of
loved
gods,
Thor
you
Ragnarok,
think of power,
and I was really excited for Thor Love and Thunder 1. It was announced, and it ended up probably being the most disappointing MCU project ever released, in my opinion, because I was so...
It was until Quantumania.
So excited for it. But that said, it did still introduce a lot of cool cosmic elements that Marvel Studios could build upon and tie into the plot of Thor 5.
Oh my God, are we going to have to rewatch this movie?
What's up, Lou? Well and take the movie seriously and don't put in a million jokes and bits like they did with Thor Love and Thunder. And it sounds like that won't happen because Taika Waititi is not going to be involved this time. But after watching the ending of Loki Season 2 and then going back to Thor 4 and that whole Gates of Eternity scene and how the Bifrost was the key to the Gates of Eternity and to finding Eternity himself, I can't help but wonder if Asgardian mythology could play some bigger role in all of that going forward in the multiverse saga. And something else I've wondered about with Thor after watching the finale of Loki Season 2 is what untapped power we might see from him in the next project he appears in.
Yeah.
Because in the Loki finale, we saw Loki kind of reveal and tap into his true power and show how powerful he really is. And if that's how powerful Loki really is, you got to think that Thor is on that same level in some different way, and that we could see his untapped power in Thor 5 or one of these next Avengers movies. Because in the comics, Thor is immensely powerful, and we've never really seen Thor's true potential in the MCU the way we have in the comics.
True.
I mean, we got a glimpse of his true potential at the end of Thor Ragnarok, but for the most part, Thor has always relied on Mjolnir and Stormbreaker to access his power. So yeah, after seeing what happened to Loki and him embrace his full power at the end of Loki Season 2, it makes me wonder what the true power of Thor could be once he fully embraces his status as a god and as the Allfather, really.
Yeah, true.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that is a big part of what Thor 5 is about. Because even after all of Thor's character development throughout Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War, by the end of Avengers Endgame, Thor is still turning away from his place as the Allfather and the protector of Asgard because he has to...
This is a really good point. I was thinking a lot about this as well. Loki's arc is interesting because he goes from wanting a throne in just for vanity's sake to a throne being the last thing he wants, to understanding that sitting on a throne at the end of time alone for eons is how he serves. So you think about that, right? It's really good. It's really good. So what's up with Thor? Well, Thor goes from wanting to rule over Asgard to not wanting to rule over Asgard to essentially being like completely lost. He has like no idea what his actual purpose would be. And if we follow just the logic of like what happened with Loki and how we kind of flip that, Thor is likely to understand that he must lead and that he must be, that powerful either leader, protector, or king or something like that, right? Interesting.
First go out into the universe and kind of discover himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if a big part of Thor 5 is about Thor finally becoming and embracing his place as the Allfather and the true successor to Odin, the same way that Loki finally embraced his role as the god of stories. Because I think that the multiverse saga will probably be Chris Hemsworth's final hurrah as Thor. Because, he's getting older, and with how hard it is for him to get that ripped every time he has to play Thor, it's really hard on him. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons...
Yeah, that's totally true, and I think that could be the case, but we're also watching Hugh Jackman in, like, his late 50s, deadlifting and getting fucking jacked again to be Wolverine. So, like, I totally understand it, but it's going to be up to them. You know what I mean?
Since I think that Thor 5 will probably come out in Phase 6 before Avengers Secret Wars is because I think that Secret Wars will probably be Chris Hemsworth's final appearance as Thor in the MCU.
I actually don't think that.
So if Marvel Studios wants to fully evolve Thor's character into a more
Odin is rolling in his
Thor,
grave after watching Thor 4.
Kind of
I think so.
And have to do that in his next few appearances. Now, as far as what other characters and villains could also appear in Thor 5, it's kind of hard to say with so little information. But one would think that Marvel would figure out a way for Hercules to be involved in the movie after his post-credits introduction in Thor: Love and Thunder. And then we also have to remember that Thor: Love and Thunder ended with Jane Foster being greeted to the gates of Valhalla by Heimdall. And the way that Marvel Studios have introduced Valhalla is as an astral dimension very similar to the comics. And by doing this, it kind of opens the door for Marvel Studios to potentially bring back dead Asgardian characters in some future project, like perhaps Odin, Heimdall, or of course, Jane Foster. Now, I'm not saying they will do this, just that it opens up the possibility to do that if they wanted to. And as far as who the possible villain of Thor 5 could be, again, it's really hard to say for sure without knowing really anything about the plot. But if they wanted to go really big and dig into the crazy Asgardian mythos like the Loki Season 2 finale did, I personally think it would be really cool if they introduced the Midgard serpent in some way, because there's just so much cool stuff they could do with that from the comics to create this big kind of mythical, magical spectacle. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents, and of course we'll have to see what happens, but those are just some of my initial thoughts regarding Thor 5 that I wanted to touch on with all this news coming out recently about it looking like it's in development. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this shorter video. I'm sure we'll come back to this topic and talk about...
Yeah, that's cool for sure. I want to get in to some of this myself, as far as from like theorizing and doing a little bit of research and whatnot, because I agree that they're probably going to do something big with Thor, you know, take him to a crazy level of power, and I think that'll be dope. Yeah, I'll get in there and do a little bit more research and whatnot myself. Okay, guys, let's just do some Q&A. Let's get into some of the questions, super chats, member chats. We'll hang out in the chat for a little bit, and then we're going to get on out of here, guys. Should be, hopefully, like, back to normal streams next week. There's still some stuff I'm trying to figure out with the new setup in here. We're trying to figure out the power so that I can run some space heaters in here and not fry the freaking power every couple of minutes. So hopefully we should be back to regular stuff next week. But for now, let's just get in to all this stuff. Okay, so Rosie first in today, says, I hope you talk about Elon and Iger today. Fire emoji. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I mean, look, this is just one of those things that like a lot of you guys are just not going to like what I have to say. Because my perspective on both Bob Iger and on Elon are just like a little bit more nuanced. And I think a lot of you guys think that Elon is a champion of free speech and that he's doing all this stuff to like champion free speech. And I just don't agree. Like, I just flatly don't agree. And if you look at some of the ways that he's handled certain situations like Turkey, and if you look at some of the things that he's done on the platform and some of the people he's banned, that his team has banned, I just don't see it that way. So, you know, a lot of you guys are just, you're so set in your way of like Elon free speech. And I'm just like, number one, that's not even true. Number two, this dude admitted himself that the tweet he made or the reply to that tweet was maybe the worst thing he had ever done on the platform. And then like a couple of minutes later said, if this boycott will destroy the company. And I'm just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you're going to destroy the company. Like, imagine being able to admit that the tweet you made, which set off the whole boycott, was the worst thing you've done on the platform. Imagine being able to recognize that. And yet then saying, the people that don't want to advertise on this platform, they're like these horrible people that are going to destroy the company and we're going to document it. Like, I think that's absurd. I think Elon needs to shut the fuck up and just get back to inventing and doing what he does well. I mean, he's a brilliant guy. Tesla's a great company, like he said. But I'll tell you this, dude, Twitter is a fucking joke. And he thinks he's doing all this. Like, imagine being the free speech guy. Imagine saying, like, you know, all I see around is these people saying, that they want to look good, but they're doing evil. But ask yourself this question: how much more censorious, ridiculous, outlandish shit have you seen on Twitter since this guy bought it? This guy took the dial of absurd and dialed it up to 11. I've seen shooting, porn bots, street fights. I've seen the most ridiculous and absurd shit because they flooded Twitter with goobly glob garbage to try to dial engagement up to then use that to sell to advertisers. So just in no way, shape, or form am I on the Elon Musk dick riding campaign. No way. But here's the other side of this. I also get what he's trying to do, and in some ways I think that he is correct. So it's like that whole situation's crazy. And like the idea, let me just a little bit of behind the curtain. I literally had a meeting with a big advertiser yesterday. And like we're going through stuff and we're trying to figure stuff out and we're coming to terms and all these sort of things. And I just thought in my head as I was having this meeting with this advertiser, what would Elon Musk do? Would Elon Musk just turn around and be like, yeah, go fuck yourself? Like, and who on planet Earth thinks that within that kind of a business relationship that the face of a company could come out and tell advertisers to go fuck themselves and expect what? Like that's not like, yeah, I think Elon Musk is the dumbest smart person on the planet. That's what I think. And as far as Bob Iger is concerned, I mean, Bob Iger's just doing what a CEO does. He's trying to control the narrative, set a North Star, wave the curtain in front of Wall Street, and say whatever he has to grab up positive publicity, because the entire market value of Disney, according to Wall Street, is a speculative game. It is all speculation. So what's Bob Iger saying? I mean, probably whatever he thinks he needs to say to try to get that stock price up. Like, period. So, yeah, I mean, that's the take. You know? Like, dude, it's cool and funny that he told Bob Iger to go fuck himself, but that's probably going to lead to banks owning Twitter within 16 months, which, to be honest with you guys, I want to happen. Elon is not doing a good job on Twitter. Like, objectively. It's not good. You know what I mean? And no amount of bot farms or dick riders on that platform are going to convince me otherwise. Like, it's trash. It will be better if the banks take it back, because he took it private with bank loans. And if I was sitting on the board of a bank, or if I was in charge of their investment operations, and I saw the guy that we gave, I mean, I don't know how much they gave him because I think he had some cash up front, but let's say it was 20 billion of the 44. Can you imagine giving $20 billion to a guy that's supposed to make a company profitable, and this guy's literally telling advertisers to go fuck themselves? Banks take it back, LOL. John, just watch what happens. You don't have to believe me. Just watch. Just watch. You know, I will say I trust Elon over Disney. Why? You trust the South African billionaire more than Disney. Why? Like, why? What? He said Cybertruck standard would have 500 plus miles of range. It has 300. Like, why? I like Elon, but Elon is exactly a South African billionaire. Like, that is exactly what he is. Like Yeah. And it's like, I don't even like talking about it because I think that, I think what Elon's actually really good at is marketing. You know what I mean? That's what I think. So anyway, that was just the first one. Second one says, Shell Nut says, first member chat ever. Thoughts on current state of Star Wars? Do you know what the next Star Wars project will be? Much love, bro. Yeah. So the next project will be Bad Batch Season 2. At least from what I've heard. That's supposed to come out early next year. The Acolyte, I believe, is supposed to hit in the middle of next year. And I think Skeleton Crew is going to hit next year in like winter time. Or like slower. Or later in the year. So that's what I think is going on. Thanks for the chat, man. Corey says, yo, Josh, been a great 8 months with the Nerd Avengers. Can't wait for the years to come in the meetup next year. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Hell yeah. I'm excited too. You know, like today, man, like I was like, honestly, like, I don't know. I'm having kind of like a funky week. I really didn't even want to stream today, but I was like, I can't skip 2 fucking streams this week, you know? So, yeah, so I was like, yeah, let's just get it and get in there. But like if I were a teacher, right, and I had to go teach the class, this would have been the kind of day where I would have just brought in a bunch of pizzas and we just would have had a pizza party. You know? Like that's the kind of vibe I was on, where I was like, yo, like surprise pizza party, class. Let's just fucking watch some movies and eat some pizza. Like that's the kind of wave I'm on right now. But yeah, I appreciate the love, man. When we get together next year, it's going to be fire. The meetup this year was incredible. It was great. I had a great time with y'all. So, yeah, we'll do it again next year. It's going to be big. Again, Mr. JB, thanks for the 5 gifted, baby. Kavid says, curious question. Since I have YouTube Premium, do you still make ad revenue off me? If not, here's $5. Yeah, so you actually make more money off of folks. Well, I guess it kind of depends, right? From what I understand is when you have YouTube Premium, a portion of your money, I think it's the 70%, is split among the creators that you watch, but it's weighted. So like, as an example, let's say the only channels you watch are me and Paul from Heavy Spoilers. If we're the only 2 channels you watch, then per month, we will split 70% of your whatever that costs for YouTube Premium. But if you watch like 10 channels, it gets split among 10 channels. Now, that actually ends up being more money for the creators. So I think we actually make more money off of people that have YouTube Premium. But I'm not 100% on that. That's kind of the way that... that's the way it used to operate. I haven't really looked into that for like a long time, so I'm not really sure. Chris says, everyone, I hate Disney. Me, going to chill in Galaxy's Edge tomorrow. LOL. May the force be with you. Hey, man, I hope you have a good time. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm obviously not a big fan of like what Disney's doing lately. I think they suck. And I think that the biggest thing that I think, well, maybe it's not the biggest thing, but one of the things that's really hurting them is their inability to like just hold the L. Like it feels like they just can't hold the L and they want to like shuffle around it or hide the fact that they're really out of touch and like shedding audience and people hate them pretty like people really hate them. And it's like if they would just like hold the L a little bit and be like, yeah, you know, we are kind of fucking up a little. I feel like that would go such a long way. But I'm also not one of these people that thinks Disney's going to just like completely disappear. And I still think that they have the ability to turn this around. Like, I want them to turn it around. You know what I mean? I would really like them to like get their shit back together. Marvel to be popping, Star Wars to be popping. It would make my life a lot better. It would make the content a lot better. Like it would be great all around. So I'm hoping that's what we get. Caden says, 100%, these CEOs think the audiences are just dumb moviegoers that will just show up. Tired of them pushing bad shit. Also, Wyatt Russell for MVP. Yeah, he said he had some interesting quotes, man. I thought that was pretty cool that he came out and said, that's just a great quote. That's what you want to hear from your players when the team is struggling, you know? Because he basically came out and said, a lot of people are saying that Marvel's, kind of on a downslide or things are kind of bad over there. And so it's time to get to work. I think Thunderbolts is going to be great, and it's not your average predictable MCU movie. It's going to be really good. So it's time to get to work. And I was like, yo, I like that attitude, bro. Is Wyatt Russell the hero that we need right now? That would be wild. Can you imagine? U.S. citizen, hard carrying the MCU moving forward. That'd be cool. Space Tricks Serial TM says, hyped to make a stream. Been playing catch up with you on a Mexico cruise. Oh, nice, man. Snuck an Indica Bacta cart on and have been taking those Bespin blinkers. My man, that sounds like a good ass time, man. Just don't fall off the boat, man. Don't take too many, Shit. But yeah, that sounds cool. U.S. agent. Yeah, man. Let's get it. Finto says, did you see Snyder's comments on the project that would return him to superhero directing? Dark Knight Returns or Daredevil movie he would do. Imagine. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. So, I think he's going to go on and do a lot of Rebel Moon, which apparently there's a part 3 of Rebel Moon that's... look, after tomorrow when I release this video and the whole world watches it because you guys are going to share it out to every grandma on the planet, and after everybody starts to wake up and realize that Rebel Moon's going to be the dopest dope you ever smoked, then yeah, I think we're going to get that part 3. And look, he's got a lot of work to do creating the Rebel Moon franchise over the next 5 to 10 years. But after that, yeah, come on back to DC. Affleck will be older. So you could do older Affleck, Dark Knight Returns. Woo! That sounds great. Snyder woke. Snyder is woke. I think Zack Snyder's always been woke. One of the rare folks out there that does woke correctly. David says, any opinion on Bruce Campbell saying he's the same character in all Marvel movies? Nerd Avengers for life. Almost 3 years. Hot damn, David. I appreciate that. I can't tell if he's just fucking around. I can't tell if Bruce Campbell's just fooling. If he's just talking, or is there something really crazy going on? Can you guys imagine if they made Bruce Campbell one of the Beyonders? Wouldn't that be cool? Molecule Man? Maybe. He could be. What if he's the Beyonder? And that leads to Kang finding him or taking him out, or the Beyonder plays some kind of role or something like that. That would be kind of fun, man. That would be kind of fun. Toby from 838 confirmed. I haven't seen anything about that, so I don't know. Leon says, damn, that might be one stream I downvote. MOM was super meh. How dare you? Yeah, right, bro. You got to come to that stream, man. Trust me, after you watch this stream, you're going to be like, damn. That's actually crazy. I didn't consider it. Oh my God, I never thought of it this way. Multiverse of Madness, masterpiece. Kalisto says, I got the day off for my birthday. Guys, let's get some happy birthdays in the chat for Kalisto, a member for 39 months. Holy shit, that's a lot of support. Thank you so much. Since I won't be here Tuesday, I'll say happy birthday to you now. Do you and Elisa have anything fun planned? No, I mean, all I want to do is just play video games and chill. And then Thursday, there's a new Warhammer game that comes out. I'm going to be playing that with my buddy all day. So all I asked for my birthday was on Thursday, I just want to have the full day to just game and hang out with the homies. So that's what I'm going to do. Happy birthday to you, Kalisto. Arthur says, love this one because I loved MOM. And 2, Michael loves Kang. Does he? Does he love Kang? I hadn't heard that. But yeah, no, I'm excited too, man. The Fresh Towel says, on Gary's stream, they said MOM has done more damage to the MCU and is equally as bad as the Marvels and Quantum Mania. Why do you think it's a masterpiece? Well, it is a masterpiece. Okay? I just happen to be a person that's elevated in taste and intellect to be able to recognize it as a masterpiece. Every person that doesn't, well, I can't really relate. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like. But, I don't know. Paint chips, radius to nuclear facilities, zodiac signs, fluoride in the water. I mean, there are probably explanations. I just don't know what makes a motherfucker that dumb, daft, to not be able to recognize it. You know what I mean? So that's why I recognize it as a masterpiece. Appreciate you, though. J-Field with the 10 spot says, Deadpool roasting the MCU and the state of comic genre is going to be epic. That will indeed be pretty awesome, man. I'm very excited for Deadpool 3. That's going to be a good time. Code name 17 says, MOM is amazing. How does anyone have an issue with Wanda being evils if she used the Darkhold? If you hate it, you're wrong. Oh, I agree. Top marks for code name 17. Top marks. Purple Funk says, Raimi is an OG top tier director. MOM is S tier MCU. See, these are my people. Watch some videos that criticize MOM. Yeah, I could. Do you guys want me to watch some of those and just absolutely shred those videos? Talk about how they're all wrong? Because, you know, here's the truth. And I'm I'm not trying to go super hard on people. You know, you can have your own opinions. It's all good. But from what I've seen, the worst kind of people hate Multiverse of Madness. And who are the worst kind of people? The worst kind of people are the people that are dug in on either side of the culture war. So you've got a lot of people on the left that dislike the movie because they think it does some kind of a disservice to women. And then you've got a bunch of people on the right who hate the movie because they think it's all girl power. And they think it just detracts from Strange and it's all just propping up all of these female characters. How can it be both of those things? It can't be. They're wrong. It's just poor writing? No, it's good. It's great writing. We're going to do this. You know what? I'm probably going to make that the video on Monday. Unless some crazy news comes out over the weekend, I would say Monday morning at 11 a.m., we're going to go through Multiverse of Madness. It's time. It's time. We're going to do it. I'm going to explain it. I'm going to go through the whole thing. And it's like the same mind, the same brain that is hypercritical of all of these things that we talk about. Some of you guys get upset with me because certain shows or certain movies, I bring things up and I come at it from this kind of film school background where I'm like, yeah, this isn't great. Yeah, this doesn't work. Yeah, I like this, but the pacing, right? This, that, second, and the third. That same mind, that same brain is telling you Multiverse of Madness is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. And starting on Monday at 11 a.m., I'm going to take you through the whole thing. I like Mahler's stuff, and I think that he does bring up good arguments in a lot of the videos I've seen. But like all humans, he's a rationalizer. You know what confirmation bias is? Like everybody, especially smart people, think they're right. And they have ways of rationalizing the feelings that they have. And that's fine and that's all good, except that everyone's wrong except for me. Lerald says, come down with CHS yesterday. Wouldn't wish that on anyone. Feels like torture. What the hell is CHS, man? I don't know what that is, but that sounds bad. I would suggest not doing that. Samuel says, company gave me a half day. Feeling great on a Friday. Nerd Vengeance for life. Let me just explain something to you guys. I had to kind of do a double take there when he said it was Friday. That's just where we're at. That's what's going on. I'm like, wait, what? What? It's Friday? Uh-oh. Jordan says, please don't watch the holiday special. Trust me. I feel like it's too late. I feel like we've already signed up for that one. That's what we got to do. Jack says, what if they changed Kang Dynasty into Secret Wars Part 1, so now Waldren is doing Secret Wars Part 1 and 2? Yeah, we need a banger, and so does Marvel. Yeah, no, I actually agree with that, Jack. I think something like that's happening. They might even still call it the Kang Dynasty, but I think they've changed it up quite a bit. I think that they have new ideas with how they're going to handle that. But who knows? We'll see. Zoe the Goat says, you going to change your tune on Young Avengers if they put Franklin and Valeria on the team, making it a mashup of Future Foundation champions and YA? I mean, I like that better, for sure. That sounds a lot cooler to me. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of down with that. But, man, the current sort of vibe on Young Avengers in the MCU and the effort we've seen to, like, establish these characters and set them up for that, I hate it. Dude, I just hate it. Like, it feels like the Marvels brought it all together with the Kate Bishop, Kamala Khan scene, and I thought it was the cringiest. It was bad. So if that's the level of cringe and the level that we're gonna go, no thank you. Also, here's the thought. Why wouldn't you just do Future Foundation? Like, real talk. Like, why wouldn't you just do the Future Foundation? Like, why would you do Young Avengers? Like, it feels like fetch. Like, stop trying to make Young Avengers happen, Feige. It's not going to happen. Except that it will happen, and I'll be forced to talk about it. So, Dirt Wizard says, great stream today. Hope have a great weekend. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. Seconds from Disaster says, how long do you think it's going to be till Unity is ready? I'm stoked to grab me a copy. You should end the stream today with the trailer. That would be dope. When is it going to be done? Well, the delivery date is August of next year, and I think we'll be able to hit that, although the book keeps getting bigger. But the first chapter should be done within the next couple of weeks, actually. And I'm excited because everybody who backed the initial Kickstarter gets a digital copy of chapter 1, which is 40 pages. So that'll be dropping relatively soon for people. And that's going to be dope, man. Once people get their hands on that, well, I guess not their hands because it's digital. But once they check that out and actually read it, whew, dude, I'm telling you, like, we're game changing. Dirt Wizard says, if they do a Rey movie, it should center around her being a Palpatine, becoming public knowledge, and of course, bring back a real Skywalker. Put Rey through some struggles. Take my money. Nerd Adventures for life. Yeah, Dirt Wizard, I agree with you, man. Thanks for the 10. That's very generous. I agree with you, and I'm going to be as open as I can to that film. I still think it's a horrible idea. Like, it just feels like, why would you do that, bro? You know? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, what if the Rey movie performs at the level of the Marvels? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if that's what we're looking at? What if that's what we're staring down the barrel of? Because I got to say, I don't think the Marvels is good for anybody. You know? So, yeah, I really don't like it. A big problem is that very few people understand the free speech clause. It's there to keep the government from asserting people for criticizing them or arresting people for criticizing them. All other speech is governed with societal consequences. Nerd Adventures for life. Take my money. Unity. Yeah, for sure. I mean, freedom of speech is not the same thing as freedom from consequences. I think that you are absolutely free to express yourself, but I think conversely, a studio company or employer is free to fire you or distance themselves from you depending on what you say. And I mean, like, Elon, by replying to that tweet and saying that it is right, I mean, yeah. Powder says with the 10 spot, hi Josh, Unite, no Avengers for life. Hope you're doing good on a. Hope you're having a good Friday, dude. Yeah, it's been chill. I mean, it's a little bit cold in here. It started out a little bit hot. It's been a weird day. The stream started off a little bit shaky, but we pulled it together. So thank you for that. Appreciate the love, man. Pretty Nikki says, MOM is a masterpiece, and if you think differently, may your cell phone never charge. 28 months, let's go! Hell yeah, Pretty Nikki, let them know. Let them know. Walmart just announced no more ads on X, so as you predicted, his F-up statement is going to make things worse. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Debate Mauler. Here's the thing. I don't like debating because, frankly, I get pretty toxic. So I have a really hard time debating nicely. You know what I mean? And I really don't like sometimes who and like how I act like when I'm in a debate. Like really, I don't. So I don't know if I would debate Mauler or anybody really. You know? Some debates are cool, and like I like some of these debate bro people, right? Like I like Destiny, I like Vaush, and some of these guys. But like, low key, debate bros are kind of lame too. Like the idea of like wanting to get in an argument with somebody and like prove my shit's right. Like that whole thing feels cringy to me. Like I'd rather have a conversation. A conversation I think is so much more fruitful than a debate, because debates aren't even like real. Like I don't know that I've ever seen a debate that wasn't decided on like nonverbal communication and like it's basically like Thunderdome. You can be completely wrong and win a debate because you're saying quippy things that fluster your opponent or some shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's just not what I'm about, you know? So I don't know that I would debate him. Would I have a conversation with him? Yeah, sure. Would I argue strongly that Multiverse of Madness is a masterpiece? I mean, yeah, fuck yeah, because that's legitimately how I feel. But yeah, I mean, like, also too, I don't know how interested I am in even collaborating. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm not really collaborating. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really collaborating. I walked away from Nerd Theory. I'm not really showing up on other people's videos or streams. Yeah, not to say that that's like a permanent state or whatever, but I actually think, and maybe I'm wrong about this. This is one of the things I'm open to being wrong about. Is I actually think I'm pretty good solo. Like, I think I can carry on a good conversation and I can like bring in, an interesting kind of balance within that. But I think I'm pretty like entertaining on my own. Because like when you're in a conversation, like you can't always just go off the handle and say the crazy shit and just like yell into the camera and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, some people I think are better with others and some people are better alone. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit better alone, So, yeah. But I tell you, I've said this before, but I do genuinely like Mauler's content. Like, I think he's very sharp, very good editor, a good thinker. You know what I mean? So I have no beef with Mauler. I actually like Mauler. Mauler's actually one of the channels that I watch. Like I don't really watch Gary. I don't really watch like Geeks and Game. I don't really watch a lot of those people, but Mauler I do. Cause like I just think he does really good work and it's like really cool. So yeah, I like his stuff and whatnot, but yeah, he's one of the good ones for sure. I would agree. unless you had a co-host like Justified. I mean, look, I've been peeping in a little bit on what you guys do over there. I think you guys got a really good thing going. Just need to continue to develop the, like one thing I think you need to do, Kendall, and maybe we'll talk more about this on Sunday, is you need to be a little bit better of like keeping the flow, keeping it on rails. You know, having that host, that producer mentality, you know, as you keep going. But yeah, people keep talking about superhero fatigue, but it's more like financial fatigue. People are struggling, so they aren't going to pay money to see something that's trash. Yeah, I think that's a part of it, for sure. For sure. All right, guys, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Super chats, member chats. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for sharing the stream out. Thank you to the 5 people on Twitter, the 2 people on Twitch, and the 6 people on Kick or whatever it is. I appreciate you guys as well. So thank you all. And, we got one more coming in. Rosie with the $10 says, the fire was for take. I agree with you on Elon. Did you see that the same conference Iger said we have to entertain first? It's not about messages. That's we've won. We failed recently. I've been holding an L. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully signaling of some things to change and some things to come. And like I was saying on Twitter, like, you know, man, I'm trying not to get too toxic and like aggressive today. You know, I can kind of feel that energy coming in, right? But I'll say this. The idea of an entertainment industry putting entertainment first should not be controversial at all. I think that the only reason it's controversial is because that controversy creates money. You know? And at the end of the day, most of the channels that are talking about like Disney's woke agenda or like the Pandaverse shit and all that, right? Everything that's going on at Disney. Most of those channels do not actually want it to change. Because if it were to become like completely non-woke or completely, I don't know, their ideal version of whatever the content is, then they would have no controversy to farm and no way to like make a horde of videos that speak to that problem. So like if you are in the business of creating smoke alarms, all right, you want to make the best smoke alarms, right? But do you really? Because if you made the very best smoke alarms that never needed to be replaced, that prevented fire like 99.9% of the time, then you go out of business. Because you can't sell any more fire alarms. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's an aspect to the anti-woke grift that is super disingenuous, because they don't actually want it to be better, because then they won't be able to profit off of it. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's fine, but a lot of it's just bullshit, man. Like, it's all just like dressed up. Like, these motherfuckers don't care. Sashin says, much love, Nerd Vengeance for life. Yeah. Appreciate you, man. All right, let's get out of here. Let's end the stream before I gotta stop it. Josh probably be getting like Skip Bayless in the debate. Oh yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Oh, there goes my battery. Okay, good time to call it. Appreciate you guys. Much love. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Ah, man. Look, that was a good one. Okay, that was a good one. We made it through. But it was one of those streams where I felt like just going off like every 3 seconds. And I'm all fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed that these people think this, that people says this, but that people don't know about multiverse matters, man. Fuck Elon Musk, man. God damn. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of it. It's like motherfuckers have a fucking worldview built on Legos. Legos! Holy shit! But anyway, it's all good. It's all good, you know? It's all good. Anyway. Much love. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Do some Saturday morning cartoons. I'll see some of you guys on Sunday for a prime stream. And then Monday, we're going to explain why Multiverse of Madness is a masterpiece. Legos are fun. God damn it. All right, everybody. Open up your third eye and wash out your stinky butt.